Hey everybody, this is Limitless Kikaider, and we're doing another cool review this week. And this is from Super Image Shogun, or S.I.C, Bandai, and this is Kikaider. And technically this character is from the second series of Kikaider that came out in the late 70s with his motorcycle. If I'm not mistaken, it says right there in the box that his motorcycle is called Double Machine. Yeah, so his motorcycle is called Double Machine, and technically it's his vehicle he uses to drive in the show. Now, I never watched the original live-action show that came out, I think, 1972 to 73, but I did watch the remake anime series that came out in the early 2000s, and I really dig the design and the origin story of Kikaider. And in that anime series, those other Kikaiders were his siblings. So I did a little bit of digging, and in the original live action, they're actually not brothers. So I did a more background, sorry, and they just show similarities, but I don't know. They're technically they're not the same, and they're not created by the same creator. Who pretty much, like in the anime series, they had a kind of like a sibling, kind of rival kind of deal. But this android was built just in case the shadow, like in the show, the evil villains of robotics and androids and cyborgs and all that stuff. It woke up to save people, you know, but it shows similarities, so it's kind of interesting and a little weird. I wish it was more like the scientists who created the original Kikaider android created other prototypes in case this one failed, or maybe create 3 as a safety precaution in case one failed the next generation and one failed the next generation, etc. But yeah, so they have no relations. Go figure. Even they have similarity when it comes to, you know, character and color design and both drive motorcycles. But yeah, go figure. And again, this is, if I'm not mistaken, part of that same artist, Takayuki Takeya, known for doing these kind of really cool sculptures and drawings of organic but also machine style art. And the line he does, if it's all the one guy, and I check, I think it is. But it is, man. He does such an amazing work. I wish they kept continuing his work. I don't think Bandai does anything more of the S.I.C. I think the last one were from the line Kikaider, and yeah, I think that's the last one they ever did. I wish they could continue the line with the more modern Kamen Rider shows, but maybe they will. You know, cross fingers they could continuing. But this is one of the older lines. This is towards 2007, so the box art and the design's a little bit different. When it comes to the articulation, it's a little bit more different. These are known to decay over time and break because the way it's sculpted and designed, it has a little bit of die cast with mostly like hard resin. But the problem is the pressure and the way it's designed with the art, with the joints are, I think from the way I think is that, my theory is that there's too much pressure in them, and they give up over time, especially when you move them around. They just break. Make sure you ever do collect one and it's never been open, make sure to, if the joints are really hard, the first thing you shouldn't do is move them around. Put hot water, let them loosen up a little bit. Try different ways to sand it down a little where the joints are, if you can, without damaging the paint. So you can just loosen the joints without actually breaking the figure, because they're known to break, especially the older ones. But yeah, now let's actually get a better look at the toy itself. Alright, so now let's get a better look on this scope. And this thing, scope wise, paint wise, it is really, really nice. The detail on this, man, this is one of the reasons I like this line. Just when it comes to the scoping and the weathering paint, the paint itself, it's nice, shiny, and chrome. But I'm just saying in general, this line has some crazy designs, some organic but also mechanical designs to it. And this thing is beautiful. You know, my camera can't capture how nice it is. You have to have this in your hands. You can really appreciate just how the way it looks. It's just the scope on this. You see the see-through kind of plastic. You can see his innards of the circuitry that this thing has. It's just really cool. The way it looks, details, and then that kind of like gold kind of copper paint for the mechanical parts. The two divided colors. It looks really cool. And then it just, the scope of this thing, I like. It gives me a kind of like a Frankenstein kind of vibe. Excuse me, the way his face looks. This looks really cool. But yeah, that looks sick. So now let's actually test the articulation. Alright guys, so let's test the articulation. Now this figure has a lot of swivel action with a lot of ball joints. Just keep in mind, again, if you ever purchase this line, the ball joints and they do break. It's just the way it's designed is because the resin and the pressure and the design, the bizarre designs of some of these figures bring so much pressure to the ball joints that it just break over time. Usually on the legs or the arms or most of the parts where they break. But this thing has amazing articulation. He has echo pivot. He has bone joints in his arms. He has stomach bends. He also has swivel action on his hips. It's really not a bad articulation when it comes to this figure. This one so far I have no complaints about it. The articulation, like I said, is really nice. But I do notice that the head part comes off really easily. Mine is pre-owned, so I'm assuming that's why it keeps coming off. But yeah, in the end, like I said, I love this figure, especially this one. Have no issues with it. And you gotta love the angle pivot again, but just that issue that I have noticed where the head pops out a lot. But one of the cool things I like about this figure is his main weapon and his right hand, the beam cannon kind of thing. It's really cool. So now let's actually get a better look with him with his motorcycle, and also afterwards I'll show you guys him with the statue breaking out as well. So I want to show you guys already the motorcycle setup. This thing looks really cool. The detail on this, the scope, the see-through plastic with the gunmetal look, and then the different kind of colored paints. This thing. Alright guys, so let's talk about the good and the bad and how much and where I got it. I'm going to start with the bad. So when it comes to this line, sadly the joints and they do decay and break over time. So you always have to have that kind of like behind your back when you purchase something like that. I was lucky when I got this, the joints were okay. But when I move the arms, especially the legs, they're really, you feel the pressure in them. You feel anytime they can give up, so just always keep that in mind. Again, the trick is try to use hot water. Maybe try to sand that down the edges, not to mess up the paint. But yeah, just have to have that in the back of your mind. Other than that, when it comes to the art, well, when it comes to the scope on this thing and the crazy amount of extra accessories and just the paint on this thing is just beautiful and gorgeous. It really does capture the character, and in, like, in a weird, like I said, organic essence. There's no way to actually capture what when you actually have this one in your hands and you just appreciate the style of this. I really like this. Even you're not a fan of this show, like, again, I never watched the live action show that came out in 1973. I did watch the remake anime series that came out in the early 2000s. It did take concepts and some of the stories from those shows and fused it into one anime series. It's a really sad anime. You should definitely watch it. I like it. But yeah, this thing is really cool. I actually got this through, if I'm not mistaken, I purchased this through eBay, through a seller in Japan. I paid about $60, and shipping was free. So for something like this, it's really cool. I have seen it gone for about 80 to 90 up. With the box itself and the weight, it's really heavy, so I'm kind of shocked that I pay free shipping for it, especially as international shipping, but I really like this. But yeah. It's cool. Again, the whole with the playing the trumpet. You have him posing like that. He's playing his trumpet. Made a dramatic scene after defeating a evil robot. But like, I'm definitely gonna have him posing like that, playing his trumpet, or just have him posing with the trumpet. I'm not sure yet. I gotta figure it out. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can always say any way to help the channel out. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share, any way to help the channel out. Like I always say, keep on clicking, and adios, and bye.